Welcome back to Kiwoon. I'm Caleb, and today we'll be going over Snapchat. Ticker SNAP, currently trading at roughly $38 a share. They have just reported earnings after hours today and have absolutely soared. Up over 55% in after hours trading. In this video, I'll be going over how Snapchat has beat expectations and what Snapchat's potential value should be. But before I get into it, if you guys are liking the content, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Now let's get right into it. So to start off, we just had Snapchat fall roughly 23% just today during hours. And this was a lot to do with Facebook posting their earnings last night. And with Facebook posting their earnings, Facebook actually plunged around 22% as stated in this article. And this really had a lot to do with just Facebook not having very good expectations, and their guidance or their future projections was just not very good. And so with this, Pinterest and Snapchat, both other social media platforms, they really just did not do well. And so essentially said that it said lower than expected growth was due to part with inflation and supply chain issues that have a big impacting on advertising budgets. And so because of this, we really just thought that with Snapchat and Pinterest posting earnings today, that both of their growths were going to kind of match what Facebook was doing. And so this had a very large reason why Snapchat had a 23% pullback today. And yes, I know social media with Snapchat, Facebook, or Pinterest, all of these stocks are relatively volatile, but 23% in a single day is something people should really be aware of, especially when they're trying to hold stocks for longer term. And so analysts here say that they expected Snap to report adjusted earnings roughly 10 cents per share compared to the 8-cent lost a year ago. And so this was actually Snapchat's first earnings that they were projected to be positive in. And as I was saying earlier, Snapchat absolutely killed their first earnings. They rocketed as much as 62% on their quarterly net profit, and it was just absolutely insane what their actual earnings really showed. And again, if you guys didn't know, earnings are just really a report that a company puts out every 3 months stating this is how much money they made, this is how much money they lost, and essentially what their overall growth is of their company. And so as we can see here, the earnings per share was 22 cents. And again, while this may just seem like very, very little, Snapchat was not profitable a year ago, and expected from the Wall Street was only 10 cents. So them putting up 22 was over 100% increase of what they actually were projected at. And on top of that, they beat revenue by 1.3 billion. They beat the revenue by roughly 100 million, posting a revenue of 1.3 billion versus what the projected was of 1.2 billion. And so again, this is really crazy because this is another 100 million that Snapchat pulled in, and this was 100 million that was posted over the projected estimates. And again, a lot of people thought Snapchat's growth was slowing down, with pandemic kind of going out, people kind of trying to move away from social media platforms and things like that, but no. Here we have 319 million versus roughly the 317 million estimate. And again, just 2 million users year after year, quarter after quarter. This is really just a lot of daily active users. It says that expects that daily active users between 328 and 330 million in just the first quarter of this year. And again, this is insane, especially when you think about the overall world. We roughly have 7 to 7.2 billion people living, and considering that we have almost 1/20th or 1/22nd of just what the overall world is that's on Snapchat and is using on a daily basis is just absolutely insane. And so it also provided that the range of what their projected or Snapchat's projected is to be higher than the 1.01 billion that a lot of analysts expected or anticipated. And again, these are just numbers I'm just trying to put out there just to show that Snapchat's growth is just insane, especially when it comes down to the last year. They've just had exponential growth, and just the average even revenue per user, as you can see here, $4.06, comparing it to the projected amount of roughly 380 or 379. And so again, just beating each and every single one of these expectations by just not even close margins is what essentially propelled Snapchat to roughly over $55 a share right now, and 55% after hours. And then this kind of just leads into what the growth exits are kind of telling us. Again, based off of these old projections, they still put Snapchat a fair value of 34. I really do think that if you base a lot of your estimates off of these fair projections or these new projections that Snapchat just gave us this past quarter, their fair value could be very easily at, this $38 a share that they're trading at, even though they just jumped 57%, But I really do think that Snapchat is a little bit on the higher end, especially after the 56% jump. And just getting into some trading, as you can kind of see here, this is kind of just the technical chart, and Snapchat is going to have a lot of resistance here at roughly $38 or $39, as long as like they don't pass that tonight. If they pass it tonight and go into tomorrow morning with a lot of high volume in trading, I really do think that we can have, again, you really want to be trading companies that are this volatile or moving this much on like a 15-minute chart or 20-minute chart, just because of how much they're moving. But again, if you're looking at this, you're most likely saying that Snapchat can very easily run to 42. They're going to have super high resistance here with this 50-day moving average. But tomorrow, again, I mean, we really just need to understand and see what happens with Snapchat. But I mean, yeah, guys, I just want to do a quick review video about Snapchat and their last earnings, just because, you know, a stock jumping over 50% overnight, as considering the fact that they're essentially a multi-billion-dollar company, is just huge. And so I just want to make you guys aware of it, and that's basically all I have. If you guys have any comments or questions, leave them down below. If you guys have a great rest of your day, and peace.